but mostly.
Right.
So she was talking about the sorrel, and I was like, "Oh, sorrel."
Right.
And she's like, "Yeah, and how she came about finding out about it." And I was telling her, I was like, "Yeah, like in the West Indies, like we give it to babies, to drink when they have colds because we can't get them medication because it's really good, high in vitamin C." She's like, "Oh, I didn't know that." So I started talking about that, and then like this other woman comes over and she talks about me being Trinidadian, and she's like, how one of her friends first was a Trinidadian guy, and she was like 15 at the time, and it's like, whoa.
Wow. That must have been when I stepped outside.
Yeah. It was just kind of like
I knew you were going to have an interesting experience when I stepped away.
And literally just kind of walked up like, oh, Trinidadian, like, oh, she's like, yeah, so, I know about Trinidadian people, like, one of my good friends, like, the first guy who she ever, like, lost her virginity to was a Trinidadian man, and she was, like, 15, and it was kind of, like, weird, and, like, what's the thing with, like, older men, like, being on younger women, and I was just like, this conversation
This
took
is strange.
quite a turn.
Wow.
Because now I'm just like, I don't know
like,
what
so
to
what are
say.
you implying, lady? Like,
and all I could say to her was like, well, they do call Trinidadians Trickadadians. So,
oh my God.
Hey, maybe he tricked her to thinking that he was younger. I don't know.
Who knows?
I also don't know how to impart in this like conversation where we're talking about older men and younger women, because for some people this can be triggering and traumatic, and for other people this can be a genuinely like intriguing conversation to just develop theories and I don't know, just
that's strange.
It was just really just really weird. And then kind of from there I was kind of like, okay,
right.
I don't know how much of my Caribbean-ness like I want to bring up in these conversations, because I think she also went on to say like she knew someone who was a Jamaican guy who was going after this younger woman, and then something else about another older person, and then the Cubano was talking about how she had dated a guy who was in his 40s when she was in her 20s, and it was just like, okay, this whole conversation about dating older people kind of like sprouted, but then she kind of did bring it back to the Trinidadian guy, because I guess she wanted to relate it back to me some way, and I was just like,
but that's not the way. It's like, honey, but that's not the way I want to be related. And and me knowing my black ass, that's exactly what I would have said. I would have said, okay, I get that we're having a conversation about dating older, but I don't want to be known as a Trinidadian girl who comes from people, of all the older guys who dated your 15-year-old friends. So can we not relate that to me?
By an older Trinidadian man.
Like it's just. And that is one of the things, like, we're talking about making new friends and navigating those social circles in order to make new friends. And that's when it gets weird, like, because that night and of course the hostess that night is very open to everyone. She has friends of all walks of life.
Yes.
But of course you're inviting people to your space who may not be as open or as lived as the hostess. And so they want to talk to you, but they don't know how to talk to you. And you and I in the Cubano, we were like a few.
We were vibing on a good level.
Yeah, we were vibing on a good level, and we were the few people of color that were actually there.
Yes.
So it's like the other people in the room see the people of color that are there. You have two striking dark-skinned black people, and yes, we are striking dark-skinned black people, and you have another Cubana who's lighter skinned but has like all of this, like this African body, and they're drawn to that, and they want to take part in it and don't know how. So a lot of the times they put their feet in their mouths, and it's like, this is when you have to sigh and just be like, you know what? If you want to engage me, fine. But how about you just shut up and let me talk? Or like ask me things.
And then that was the thing.
Isn't rooted in like the taboo.
Yeah, that was the thing. Because the other woman, she was just very much, like I said, she talked really, really fast.
That was the one that we think was in love with the
with the host.
Yes.
She talked super fast, and then she would talk a lot about like her relationships. And she's in open lesbian. So like she's talking very much to like a lot of that. And so I'm just kind of like, I can't relate to you on that level. Like I can relate, but I can't relate to you on a same-sex relationship level. Like I can't talk to that experience and share anything, for us to be related on that level. And then, like I said, when she and the Cubana were talking, they were mostly talking at me. Not with me, but talking at me, because then she kind of goaded the conversation into about friends who they know that I would have no bearings on.
Right.
And, you know, it was kind of like her having like a ranting vomit, like just a regurgitation session with this person about these friends of friends with, you know, the Cubana, and she's kind of looking at me and I'm looking at her and I'm just like nodding and saying, oh, wow. And just interjecting like responses, reactions.
Even though you don't know.
You know, and again, to be pleasant and, of course, to make sure that, like, I'm staying present in the conversation and I'm not, like, my eyes are glossed over and I'm not, you know, paying attention.
Right.
But it was just really kind of awkward, but, you know, growing pains, things that you have to eventually do.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things where you just kind of, we're at that point in our lives, in our age, rather, where it is, like you said, growing pains. I like that. It's growing pains. It's something that you have to just like work at and just do if it's something you really want to do. You know, and there'll be, I feel like there'll be lots of opportunities for you to, you know, get out there and just experiment in that way if you want to.
Yeah.
You know, like that, if you want to.
I'm trying Bumble right now.
Bumble.
Because Bumble has 3 sections, one for networking, one for making friends, and then one for dating.
Okay. I mean, you know, so, it's worth a try.
I mean, like swiping left on a lot of people for friends.
I mean, look, if you could find if you could find somebody to date on Bumble, why can't you find a friend?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, I feel like a lot of people take those dating apps for dating, and it's like, why can't you just find a new friend on there?
Right.
So there's that. And then also what I'm realizing too is that, or another avenue that I've been trying out at the moment is Instagram, because you know, sometimes you follow people follow you back, and you may like have conversations with folks on Instagram, but you know, it's like, well, why don't we meet in real life?
Yeah, right.
And that's kind of like what happens. Like, I'll post IG stories and people will reply, and like we'll have like these full on conversations. And then the other day, what actually happened is a girl who I went to high school with, we weren't tight in high school. We weren't very close in high school, and 2 of them actually, come to think of it. We just knew each other, and I want to say that I knew one girl from gym class, and I knew the other girl like through other people, but she was out in Gen Pop when I went to school. Like, I was in a school in the high school, so I didn't get to meet new people as often as everyone else did at Tech. And she was one of the people in Gen Pop, and kind of like became friends on Facebook. We had a commonality because we both read the Sookie Stackhouse Mysteries, which is the books that inspire the True Blood series. And so we would talk a lot about that then. And then of course we wouldn't talk too much. Both of us had birthdays in February, so it's like, okay, like we had the same birth month, we like the same kind of books, and we would like off and on chat. And then like recently on IG, like we just been chatting a little bit more. Like, she'll make a comment on one of my stories or something like that, and I'll do the same. But then like we would just start talking a little bit more than that. And then like one day she was just like, so when we going out for drinks? And I was like, oh.
Right. Yeah, nice.
Oh.
That's right. Call your ass out like that.
And she was like, I'm going to keep harassing you until we hang out, because we just need to hang out. And I was telling her the whole thing about, you know, how I said I need to make new friends. And she was like, me too. Let's hang out. So now I'm like I feel like I'm dating a friend. Like I'm dating, but I'm not. Like, it's friends. And the other girl, who I met from gym class in high school, same thing. Like, we chat all the time, like on IG, and she'll be like, yo, what's good, fam? Like, when we hanging out? And I'll tell her, like, girl, you could come over here. We could record on the podcast. She listens to the podcast. Hey, Frederick Douglass. You know, and we record on the so you could come over and record and stuff. So we chop it up.
You also don't want to have friends come over here and record and work. You also want to be able to have friends come over and take your ass out.
And take me out as well. So
that's the point. Hence what Friday was about.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I had to make sure. I was like, all right, Friday, I am not stepping in that house because so we're going to work. Yeah. So that's how I'm like, nope, I'm gonna pick your ass up. You come down,
and that's the thing.
Out.
Like,
it was lovely,
and it was nice. Yes. I do like going out. I think for me, it's just like I just need somebody to pull me out sometimes.
Right, I get it.
Because I feel like it's that thing where it's like those who do can and those who can't teach. Like, I will talk a lot about going out and wanting to go out, but like I won't go.
Right.
I have all these places that I want to go to and I just won't go because you know, it makes me kind of sad sometimes. It's like, oh, dating yourself, and people are really happy about dating themselves, and I'm kind of just like, I just don't want to walk on the High Line by myself.
I hear you.
You know,
I hear you,
but I do. I'm eventually just gonna do some things by I do things by myself, but sometimes you just want a nice companion.
I feel you. I feel you. Of course,
somebody who's not trying to get into your pants. And sometimes you do want people who are trying to get
exactly.
into your pants.
And you want, you know, the people for those.
Yeah, you know. So, it's really interesting, and I feel like as an adult, like we it's like a whole relearning. It's like a relearning of how to make friends. Because, like I said, you have these friends who are decades old from generations past and stuff like that, and so you're so used to having a friend that you forget how to strike up a friendship for the first time ever. And so it's in me right now, I'm kind of like trying to regain some of that confidence and just meeting new people. Right. Cause you know, I still have those fears and triggers about like people judging me and you know, oh, you're weird, you're a freak, which I got a lot in high school, but I knew how to navigate that with my friends. Like, they're just shits, so I'm not going to take them seriously. Right, exactly. But you know, with new fresh people, it's always that whole like, you want to make a really good impression, but you also don't want to be too phony around them to give them, you know, a distorted perception of who you are type deal. So it's just relearning how to make friends again, and like how to joke and how to not make a joke bad, and like engage people's like interests, and okay, they're making a face, so maybe I should stop talking about this, or maybe he should just shut up because I'm not interested in this conversation type thing to go through again. It's just so unnerving sometimes.
I hear you, girl, but we gonna make it. I'm inviting your ass out more. Friday was just the preliminary. Yeah. And I'm glad that you are doing what you can to make other friends to sort of help diversify your social life. Yeah, baby steps. And you are living by example to the audience, and that's why this episode is really good for us to do, because it's like you're putting yourself out there to the listeners, like, look, this is something that I deal with, that I struggle with, and I'm talking to y'all about it, and we're gonna work together. And so this will be an ongoing conversation, as you know, we boomerang, and we'll be coming back with like progress reports and other things that we can do. Exactly, progress reports, bitch. That's right.
Well,
and just talk about things
that's
that
why
we're
I said
doing.
like, this is just, you know, the tip of the iceberg, because right now we're just talking about making new friends. So hopefully once I start making new friends,
how
you
can
keep
them.
Come back on how you keep new friends and what you do with your new friends, and how you turn new friends into good friends.
And good friends. Amen. So we're going to have like a whole series on this. We'll be coming back to this, y'all. Yes. So, and in case any of y'all out there also are struggling with this, maybe these episodes come right on time.
Right on time for you.
Because you're right on time. Right on time.
Sing it, boo. And with that, we're right on time with ending this episode of the Adultish Podcast. As always, we would love to thank Mr. Vincent Bernard for being our favorite co-host. Mr. Vincent Bernard, make sure to drop the social for the kiddies.
Certainly. Children, here it goes. Have your notes and your pens ready. My Facebook is Vincent Bernard. My Instagram is Vincent Bernard _83. And my Twitter is Vince _Bernard.
Awesome. And if you guys are looking to make a new friend in your host, Afiya, be sure to hit me up on Twitter at La Jolie Poeta. That's LAJOLIEPOETA. Or on Instagram at ALJA0214. Please do hit me up. I'm really good on social media, and I'm really awkward in person. So let's break the ice there first.
Right. Exactly.
But if you just want to check us out on Instagram or Twitter, you can do so by following the Adultish Podcast. That's Adultish P0DCAST, again on both Instagram and Twitter. We'd love to thank you all for listening. Thank you to the new subscribers for tuning in.
Yes,
thank you to the old subscribers for keeping it consistent.
That's right.
And until next time, and hopefully I have a new friend or a new story to tell you guys. I'm gonna go do some single lady stuff.
All the single ladies. All the single ladies. Shout out to Beyonce.
Shout out, even though she's not single no more.
Right. And on that note,
bye.
Bye.